Hey guys. Okay, so this video is gonna be about my splenectomy, and I'm sorry, but I'm driving, and this is a great time to film for me because the kids are all at home. Yay! And I have a bunch of downtime, so it's perfect to film while I'm driving. So I'm not gonna be looking at the camera a whole super lot, just kind of glancing down every now and again, so I can keep an eye on the road, so I can be very safe. So anyhow, right now there's nobody around me, so we're good. So anyhow, it is starting to rain though, so you might be hearing my windshield wipers. So I want to tell a little bit about my splenectomy. I had my spleen taken out March 27th, 2017. So it has been a year and, let's see, April, May, a year and 2 months. And it has been a very difficult year and 2 months post splenectomy. Let me tell you, it was nothing. They did not prepare me at all for life without a spleen. I didn't even know really, I mean, like, I knew a little bit about what a spleen was, but I had no idea. And I had been to nursing school, okay? I was a CNA, I was a nurse's assistant, I worked in hospitals, I went to nursing school. I knew what a spleen was, but I had no idea how much different life is without a spleen. So, I'll give you the backstory on mine. I woke up in January of 2017, middle of January, can't remember the exact day, I want to say it was around the 17th. But I woke up in the middle of the night in excruciating pain. Like, I thought I was having a heart attack. And, except for it was like in my stomach and in my left shoulder. I always had heard heart attacks were like your right shoulder. Well, I have a heart condition anyways. It's dysautonomia, POTS for short, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. I've had it since I was 16. I was one of the first people diagnosed before they even really knew what it was. Back then they just called it dysautonomia. It's kind of still what it's called. It used to be classified as a heart condition. Now it's considered an autoimmune disorder that affects the heart arrhythmia. So there you go. If you suffer from that, I'm very sorry. There's like tons of us now and lots of Facebook groups about it, so that is good. There's a lot of new information about it. I was diagnosed by the head of the Embry Clinic in Atlanta, Dr. Delurgio. I'm not sure if he's still there or not, but that was back in the 90s, so that's been a while. So anyway, back to my spleen. So I woke up in the middle of the night in excruciating pain, and I went to the ER. And I sat in the ER for 8 hours, and they told me I had indigestion and heartburn, and they sent me home. And I knew something was still wrong, but I went home because I was exhausted, and I went to bed, and I woke up the next day, and I was still hurting so bad. I went back to the ER, and I was like, look, something is wrong. This is not heartburn, you know, figure this out. So the doctor that day decided to do a CT scan. Well, I'm allergic to the dye, so they can't use dye on me, but they still did the CT scans. And she comes back in the room and she says, well, unfortunately, you're going to be admitted because you have a large mass on your spleen, and your spleen is extremely enlarged, and we're afraid that it may rupture. And she said, we don't know if this mass is a bleed that might have sealed off, or if it is a actual tumor. We don't know what the mass is. So they hospitalized me, and they did all kind of blood work, all kind of tests, and MRI, I mean, just you name it, they did it. And I saw the hematologist, and they decided that he wanted to take it out. But the surgeon was like, no, she's young. I'm 30, I'll be 38 next week. And I was, this is 2017, so I was 37. Or I was 36, I hadn't even turned 37 yet at this point. So, anyhow, so I'm in the hospital, and they decided to let me go home on strict bed rest, and they were going to watch the tumor and see, or the mass. We're still calling it a mass at this point. One of the concerns was that it was a tumor, and given its location and its size, that if it were a tumor, it was a cancerous one, and it was a quick growing cancer that was very deadly and very rare. The other option was, it is pouring down rain, y'all. I'm sorry if you cannot hear me good. The other option was that it was a lymphoma. Okay, so they still didn't really know. They watched it. It didn't get any smaller. It did get a little larger. So they called for the splenectomy. And I went in, I had to go get all my immunizations done 2 weeks before that. And then I went in for my splenectomy March the 27th. I had no idea what a splenectomy involved. I have an open incision from under the breastbone to the top of the belly button, and then 2 laparoscopic places. When I woke up from the anesthesia, I was in so much pain, you guys, and I have given birth naturally 3 times, and this pain did not touch it. I mean, it was insane amounts of pain. And I had a pain pump in. I even had a pain pump. So, anyway, long story short, I was in the hospital for about 4 days, and then I was able to go home. During this time, my heart condition is all over the place. My blood pressure is all over the place. I felt horrible. I got home, I couldn't even sleep. I tried to lay down, and I couldn't lay down because you can't get back up when you're cut through your gut like that. So we had to go buy a recliner for me to sleep in. And I slept in that recliner, y'all, for like the first month, because it was just easier to get in and up and down out of the bed in the recliner versus being in the bed. And I had such bad anxiety from having my surgery done that I would literally fall asleep every night listening to a Bible verse, because I just needed to hear God's word every night to keep me focused on his promise that he was going to heal me, which I knew he would. And I'll talk about that in another video. And I'm really hoping y'all are going to be able to hear this, because it's starting to rain really hard. But anyhow, so that is my splenectomy story. That's why I had my spleen removed. And since this last year, I have been suffering from a condition called IC, which has to do with your bladder and having recurrent bladder infections. So I have had bladder infections monthly. If I can get them to go away, they go away for maybe 2 weeks, and then I'm back on an antibiotic again. So I have to be super, super careful with that. I've noticed if I get a fever blister now, my lymph nodes, that's why I'm swollen right now. I have this fever blister that's going away. But my lymph nodes swell, and they get very painful in my chin. If I get a sore throat, it swells. It's just very interesting how different my body is with no spleen. For you men, I apologize for this part, but I was also having a problem that time of the month with large clotting, and so they had to put me on aspirin because I was no longer able to be without it, because I needed it to thin my blood because I was clotting so badly. Or if I cut myself, I was clotting like really, really abnormally bad. And so I am on an aspirin a day as well. And I'm taking quite a lot of vitamins now. And I do try to juice once a day. And I might talk about that if you guys are interested in hearing about that and how that's helped me. But that has definitely helped. The juicing has. And so the bladder condition is new. Apparently a lot of people suffer with this as well. And it can happen kind of like dysautonomia, like after a major surgery or a trauma like that, you can develop it. And sometimes it'll go away, and other times it stays forever. So I was thrilled to make it to 1 year post-splenectomy, because when I was given my diagnosis, I was afraid I wasn't even going to make it through the surgery. And I had, like I said, extreme anxiety. And I have little kids at home, and I wanted to be there for them. And it was just hard. And there is another girl on YouTube that she did videos about her splenectomy afterward, and I would watch those, and they would give me hope that like I would be halfway normal after my surgery. So I decided after my surgery that I was going to create a Facebook group where we all could interact with each other. And you know, people could ask questions, because I needed that so desperately at the time, and there wasn't anything like that. So I created a Facebook group. It's called Splenectomy Support Group on Facebook. So you can look us up, Splenectomy Support Group, and I will add you, and you can kind of see the content. I think we're over 150 members now from all over the world. And which is insane to me that we have people all over the world now in our little group, but it is very humbling We've all kind of come together. We talk, we ask questions. If someone's sick, like what should we do? We encourage each other on the bad days, because there will be bad days, y'all. This surgery will change your life. This is not like having a gallbladder removed or, having a knee replacement. This is a major organ that your body needs that is now leaving, and it's your immune system. And, there's a lot of stuff that goes with that. All right, I need glasses now because it's raining really bad. I'm going to end this video because it is pouring down rain. But if y'all want to come find me on Facebook, it's Splenectomy Support Group. And this is probably one of the few videos that I'm going to do about it, but I do want to put it up on the channel and, just kind of let y'all know some of the struggles that I face in day-to-day life. So, y'all have a great time. I will talk to you later. Bye for now.